I'm Joe.
I'm Joe's mom.
And we're Eastside Vibes. Today we're doing the new Ariana Grande album, Eternal Sunshine. I feel like this is an artist that I don't have to intro that much.
No.
I'm assuming I don't have to ask you what you think about Ariana because everyone who is into pop culture seems to know everything about her.
Exactly.
That's kind of addressed in this album.
Yeah, it's addressed in this album. It's a very personal album.
Yeah, but she is like obviously one of the most successful pop artists of this generation and all time.
Right.
And this is her first album in I think 4 years.
Okay.
4 or 5.
Okay.
And because before this she had released albums like consistently.
Right.
I think Sweetener, Thank You Next, and Positions all came out like in consecutive years.
Did those all come out before that disaster at her concert in London?
No, that came out. That was like in like 2016, I think.
Okay.
I think that was she was still with Mac at that time. I think that was the Dangerous Woman.
Okay. And
tour.
Speaking of Mac Miller, it's pretty obvious, as you said, that she named this album because of him.
Yeah. I mean, I would think that. She could also say that the Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is her favorite movie too. Mm-hmm. But that was like well known to be his favorite movie, and like he like talked about it a lot.
Yeah.
So I would guess that it was something to do with that. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But which is interesting that she would call this album that when it's about like new partners and relationships.
Right. Well,
like way after him.
We were just talking. In my opinion, I think he was her true love. Just her absolute true love. And like you said, and then she started dating all these other people after it and got married and all that kind of stuff. But I think deep down for her, obviously because she wasn't there when this happened, I think that's always going to affect her. But she also had to leave him to hopefully have him stop doing what he was doing. But it didn't work.
Yeah. Like I said, it's pretty interesting that she would call the album this.
Yeah, and a lot of fans and a lot of people are saying they think the same thing.
Yeah. As far as like musically how this album goes, it's a lot more stripped back than pretty much anything she's ever put out.
Yes.
I think people are like, it seems like the reception, some people like absolutely love it, and some people are a little, I would say, I don't think they hate it, but they're kind of taken aback by that because you expect her to make this music that's like, if you listen to like Sweetener, that album is like massive and the sounds are
powerful singing.
Yeah. The singing is powerful, the instrumentals are like very powerful. And this is not that way. It's a lot more like soft,
and breathy, as I said, very breathy.
But yeah, I can appreciate that it's a little softer. It shows a different side to her artistry for sure. In my opinion, this like might be, although she has like songs and other albums that are very lyrical, I think this is like her most lyrically superior and personal record.
Yes,
for
very
sure.
Introspective.
Like she's definitely like letting the listener into her life in a way she has not before.
No, she hasn't. By the way, I do like that shirt. Speaking of Ariana,
yeah, this is the album cover for Sweetener.
Yeah, it's a great shirt.
But I think that, or I wonder like how this would sound live.
You said that. I could see her like sitting on a stool.
She's known for like, I saw her in concert. She's known for like these really extravagant performances. She can dance and yeah. But I don't think you would really do that for a lot of these. There's a couple songs.
Yeah.
But I don't think you would do that for most of these songs.
No.
But anyway, we're gonna, like always, we're gonna get into a few of our favorite tracks and then talk more about how we feel about it as a whole at the end. And the first song we picked is Don't Wanna Break Up Again. That was one of my picks. So when the album starts and it's intro, End of the World.
Yes.
That song is very like relaxed and like soft.
Very.
And I wondered like what this album was gonna be because she has never like really made music that's like that.
Right.
But yeah, when the album starts with intro, End of the World, that song is very like soft and like light.
Right.
And I wondered like what this album was gonna be because she like hasn't really made music like that.
Right.
And you know, she's in this Wicked musical movie that's coming out soon.
Mm-hmm.
And it almost sounds like musical music to me in a way.
Yep.
Like theater music.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, if the whole album was theater music, that would be interesting. But
she's got the voice for it, for sure.
It flows into "Don't Wanna Break Up Again," and the melody is almost exactly the same.
Yes, it is.
And
you kind of don't know where one ends and the next one begins. It flows so well.
But the first 3 songs, "Intro," "Into the World," "Don't Wanna Break Up Again," and then the next one.
Yes.
And this one had the instrumentation has like a disco feeling. It feels like a summer song to me.
Yep.
You know, summer is a funny word to use because it also reminds me of like Donna Summer, the singer.
Yeah.
Or
and the disco beat, like you mentioned.
Even a little bit like, not the vocals, obviously, not like Aretha Franklin, but like that kind of instrumental.
Yeah.
And it's like the melody is like very like charming and sweet, which is interesting because it really contrasts like the lyrics of the song. Because this song like it's not a happy song at all.
No.
It's basically like her saying that like she like knows that her marriage is failing, and she knows that like they can't like pick up the pieces, but like she really doesn't want to like go through like leaving someone again and being alone. And
right, she seems to not like being alone.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But it's okay.
But yeah, like this song's about like trying to like make it like force it to work,
and it's just not,
because she just like can't like deal with that again.
Right. And you mentioned, and maybe it's one of the songs you're going to talk about, that you find in this album that he was actually the one who cheated, not her.
Well, yeah, no, she says that on one of the songs.
Yeah, so,
but
she tries to make it work again, but it didn't work.
I think it's cool that like the instrumental is like pretty bright, but the lyrics
are
like
dark.
Pretty, like it's dark and sad.
Yeah.
And vocally on this song, I think she's a little more like toned back and stripped back. A lot of the album is like that, but
you don't hear that voice as much.
That does make the ones where she sings more powerfully like hit a little harder.
Yes.
Like I will say, like, we'll talk about Yes and later. I think it underwhelmed me a little bit when it came out as a single, but I like it more in the context of this album because it like sounds way more powerful than a lot of the other songs on it.
Okay.
But anyway, the next song we picked is Bye, which I sort of mentioned sounds almost exactly the same to Don't Wanna Break Up Again.
Yep, just
like the first 3 songs, the tone of the melody is extremely, extremely similar. This one feels a bit more modern though. Like the instrumentation for I Don't Wanna Break Up Again, like I said, has like a disco, like a 70s pop feeling. This one is like, I would say like more like 90s. It's still not like modern, but like more modern.
Yeah, exactly.
It like, you know, she has Mariah Carey featured later in the album, and it sort of reminds me of like Mariah Carey music.
Yes.
As like that kind of like songs like Fantasy.
Right.
That kind of beat. And Bye is like basically like her saying that like, or like responding to Don't Wanna Break Up Again, saying like she is leaving and she can't like do this anymore.
Yeah. Bye.
Once again, it's a song with a pretty like bright, because it's the same melody. Song with a pretty bright and like soft, like I don't know, bubbly, charming sound. But the lyrics aren't that way at all.
No.
I think, in my opinion, this Bye stands out to me because it has one of the better vocal performances.
Okay.
Her like especially on the chorus, her vocals are very strong, and it makes the song like hit really hard.
Okay.
I think that. If I like were to listen to, you almost have to listen to these songs in succession because they're pretty short, and they sound good like together, and they almost respond to each other, have a very similar melody, and I think that's pretty cool that they transition so well. I think the whole album actually transitions very well. That's something that it really has going for it.
Yes.
But that's how I feel about Bye. The next one is True Story, which is one of my mom's picks, and I actually would have picked this one if you didn't. So I'll let you get into why you like this song so much.
Well, personally, and we were talking about her voice, I prefer the a cappella version of this song. And I think it's because her voice is a little more powerful in it because there's nothing else like blending her out, no other like sounds. So the a cappella is the one I like the most.
I think the beat on the original is cool though.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
I'm
once again like 90s R&B, but more
Definitely.
like TLC.
Yes,
Like
yes.
that sound?
Yeah, I'm an a cappella person, so
Yeah.
if there's a good song that's a cappella, I'm all over
And
it.
her
Boys to Men, you know.
Her vocals are very good on this for sure.
They're very
like
good.
this is probably the best vocal song.
Yes, I agree. So what and she has done live interviews with people, and she has done Harper Bazaar. She did an article with them. But in this one, what she said is what she said, and I think she said it in Harper Bazaar, the entire song is not true. Even though it says this is a true story, the whole thing is completely untrue. There's nothing true about it. It speaks of lies that people say that are untrue, okay, untrue lies. It speaks of her response to these people as untrue, and it's really tongue-in-cheek. The whole thing is tongue-in-cheek.
I mean, I think you can definitely pick up on what it's about just by...
Oh, yeah.
Like she's like, we're basically like saying that the things that people have been saying about her, like all
untrue.
Yeah, all these things, like she doesn't know why the media picked up on her the way they did.
Yeah.
But they like, she was like thought of as being a homewrecker in her new boyfriend's relationship, and they came out like they were separated long before that.
Yeah, his wife and the new boyfriend. Yeah.
It was assumed by the media that she cheated on her husband with this person, like on the set of that movie. Which it came out that he actually cheated on her, and that's why they broke up.
Yeah.
So all of it, like everything that was being said about her, like you said, was a lie, and she just like wasn't cool with it, and so earlier in the album, like a lot of the songs had a more like I said, like charming and like bubbly sound. This at this point in the album, I feel like the instrumentals get a lot like darker.
Yes.
This one is not nearly as like I don't know, like
disco or hop
like
or
happy.
No.
It's more funky.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think True Story is like I said, it's probably the best like vocal song on the album too, which makes it really stand out. Which probably makes the a cappella version really stand out.
Right.
Although I do like the original version too.
Okay.
But the next song we picked is "The Boy Is Mine," which is an interpolation of, speaking of 90s R&B, the 90s R&B song "The Boy Is Mine" by Brandy and Monica. And you can definitely hear that the melody of this is very similar to that.
Oh yeah, in the background you can really hear it.
It almost just seems like a modern version of that song.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Like the beat on this is a little more like glitchy, which I think is cool. Like I think it's cool how the beat like skips at some points. And "The Boy Is Mine" is kind of her like responding to True Story.
Yes.
Saying if like I will like be that person, I'll make a song about how I am like a man stealer and like I'll
feed into what you want me to feed into.
I'll be like who you want me to be.
Yeah, exactly. But it's all untrue.
Yeah, and it's just like supposed to be like an anthem of like, like whatever, I am the bad person if you want me to be the bad person.
Yep.
It's probably like the most like besides Yes and probably the most like club like ready song.
Yes.
Like it's more similar to some of her other stuff in the fact that it feels like it's like meant to like dance to, which a lot of the other music on this album is not really meant to dance to. And I think she kind of said that this is supposed to be like the anthem. Okay. So it makes sense that like, it would feel like a little more energetic. Right. But the next song we picked is Yes and it's the one with Mariah Carey. And Yes and also feels like I think it comes after The Boy Is Mine. All these songs are in a row. Right. And once again, it feels like a response to those two songs.
Exactly.
Like, she's like, you know, like,
Yes,
I don't
like,
care
yes,
what anyone
and?
thinks.
Yeah.
But this was one of my mom's picks, so I'll let you say why you like it so much.
And you said you felt it was underrated too, so that's interesting.
Yeah, I said it like underwhelmed me when it first came out.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was fine. I didn't think it was bad, but I didn't think it was like as good as like some people were saying.
Yeah.
But I think it sounds really good in the context of this album.
Right.
Because it is a lot more powerful and upbeat, and it like stands out compared to like everything else. Mm-hmm. But like, yeah, why do you like it?
So I really like the Mariah Carey version, and it'll come out why in a second. So again, the lyrics are hitting back at the public's interest in her private affairs. She's like, why are you always into what I'm doing in my life?
Yeah, like, why do you care?
Yeah, why do you care? And it doesn't mention specifics about her personal life, but it drops hints throughout the whole thing. And for me, the fact that Mariah Carey's on it, Mariah Carey went through all that, when she was with Nick Cannon, they got divorced, and she was engaged to a billionaire. And
I guess I didn't really like realize that, because I do like Mariah Carey's music, but like, she's before my time a bit.
Right.
So I don't know about like, like what was going on around her life.
Right. I think she was on the cover of like People and Us all the time, not for her own personal self, people just gossiping about her. And this is her way of, this is like her way of, I feel like this is her being there for Ariana Grande, being like, you know what, I've been through it too. So when people do this to you, just be like, yes, and? Like,
and I would say, like, musically and vocally, Mariah Carey is definitely, like, a huge inspiration for Ariana Grande.
Yes, definitely.
Probably, like, literally the biggest inspiration for her.
Yeah, I would think so. Maybe her and, like, Celine Dion or something like that.
Yeah, so...
Yeah.
I would think that this is like an idol for her.
Oh, 100%.
And it's cool that she could get like her idol to be on a song about something that like they both
experienced.
Have to go through.
Yep.
Which is really unique compared to most other pop stars are not scrutinized like this. I don't think.
No. I mean, even Justin Bieber is scrutinized. No,
actually,
but I just think like.
I was gonna say, I think the only other person might be Justin Bieber.
Yeah, it's just it's like they're younger, and I feel like the fact that there's people younger than them
Miley
too.
Was for a while, but not anymore.
Right, exactly. I think because she changed her whole image that stopped people, but. Yeah, they're just like
because even it seems like people you mentioned Justin Bieber. It seems like people really like are super obsessed with like Haley and like. Her like what's going on with Selena Gomez and like all this stuff.
Right, exactly. And I can't even imagine the mental toll that takes on people.
Yeah.
So her yes and is just I feel that's her just like backing off and being
It's gotta be even worse it's not gotta be, it is even worse for her because of like what happened with like Mac Miller and all this stuff. So she's definitely like been extremely scrutinized, but like I said, I didn't realize that Mariah Carey had been
horribly
that happened to her too.
Yeah, even because she had been married before to this Tommy, I can't remember what his name was, when she was like 21, and people scrutinized her for marrying this much older man and everything. So like her whole career, Mariah Carey's been scrutinized. So this is great that she came on this song with her.
Yeah. I think yes, and as far as the sound goes, it seems inspired by another person who I feel like is probably scrutinized this way, and that's Madonna.
Oh,
because I think this reminds me a little bit of like Vogue.
Yes.
Like in the instrumental, like 90s like pop music, and Madonna also probably was scrutinized in that way. I would assume she was.
She still is.
Yeah, I mean, she actually
even
I
more
see,
now,
like, people
like
hate on the way she looks, and it's like she's like 60 years old and still performing.
Again, she could sing yes and like, what do I care anymore? Really? I mean,
that's one thing about Madonna. I don't think she does care.
Nope, never has. I really don't think she ever has.
That's what sets her apart.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ariana. Hopefully, she's got to this point to where she can just do whatever she wants, and if she wants to be out in public with someone and do it and like feel happy and confident that because people are going to hate on her regardless. It doesn't really matter.
Regardless,
it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But that's yes and The last song we picked is my mom's last pick. It's I Wish I Hated You.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that, like, I assumed you were going to pick this one because it has, like, a very, like, I think you said the word cathartic.
Yes.
And that's a good word for it. Like,
Yes.
just, like, really soft pop sound. And I know you like this kind of music. It's vocal. So, yeah, I'll let you talk about why you like it so much.
Well, I like I mean, obviously I chose the song, but then it was like looking through random things, and she did an interview with someone, and I don't know who the person was, but during the interview they were talking about that song, and there's a lot to say about that one. So she was saying that she will probably not listen to or perform this song in public. Like, this song was made for the album, and kind of like, that's it. It was made for the album. It's more cathartic, as I said. At one point in her life, she would have hated. So the point behind it is at one point in her life, she would have absolutely hated someone for what they did. And as a human, I hate to say it, you know, that's kind of how we are.
Yeah.
But she's like, you know what? I loved this person, and I can't hate them for what they did, or because I loved them. So she's like, I just can't hate you because we had something great together, and it was wonderful.
Yeah, no, it's definitely one of the most emotional songs on the album.
Oh, 100%.
And, like, that's, like, a really interesting sentiment where, like, you were with someone and, like, it's really hard to hate them, even though you want to. But, like, you're always going to remember the things that, you know, you love that person for.
Right, exactly.
And, like, I think she even says on the song that she would still, like, be there for him and, like, try to be his friend. And, you know, that's, like, I'd say she's extremely mature.
Oh, just
for being able to try to do something like that.
Yeah, that's, wow. I know people who are older than her who can't do that.
Yeah.
You know? So.
And it makes me, like, you got to have a lot of respect for her for being able to, like, have this mentality on it.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, like I said, I think it's one of the better vocal performances of the record, too. And it really stands out because the song is so, like, just, like, soft.
Yes.
And I think it really doesn't even have a beat.
No, not at all. And no, it's just her expressing her emotions. And like she said, I think this song was made just for the album. And
also, as far as performing it live, like, if she's performing songs for or songs from other albums, I don't know how you would even fit something like this in. How would you throw this in?
Exactly. Yeah.
Because you would almost have to, like, bring a guitar out or something and just, like, sit there with a chair, which I'm sure she could do.
Exactly. Does she play instruments?
I don't know. I would assume she does.
Yeah, something. Yeah.
I would think she does.
But her voice is an instrument, so.
But, yeah, those are our favorite songs from Ariana Grande's Eternal Sunshine. I'll let you get into what you think of it before I talk.
Okay. So, I was telling him I'm not, like, a big Ariana musically. I'm not a big Ariana fan, and I don't know why. I mean, she's had some songs in the past that I really liked. Like, she had a one with, I think it was Nicki Minaj and someone else.
Yeah.
And I really liked that one. That was like pop. It had you going and all of that.
I'll say I think that, you know, obviously now I really like her, but I think for a while I actually kind of was like that too. I didn't, like, totally get it.
Yeah.
And then I actually listened to, I think Sweetener is the first one where I listened to the whole thing.
Okay.
I'm like, this is, like, she is very talented. Like, she knows what she's doing.
Yeah. I mean, I've always felt she was unbelievably talented.
But, like, you almost have to, like, because she does, like, talk, I mean, this one's extremely personal.
Right.
But she does, like, talk about herself in these albums, and that, like, gets you, I don't know, to appreciate her more because she is so, like, raw.
Yes. And this is a very raw album. Very, very. We've been listening to a lot of raw albums lately.
Yeah. People have really been putting out music like that, which is cool.
So, I appreciate this album and the fact that, like, I haven't listened to a lot of her albums prior to this, and so I appreciate the fact that she's so mature. In this album, she's so mature about her experiences, about how she's responding to things, and that's what really made me like the songs that I liked. That's why I really chose those songs. I mean, I've listened to it over and over. but those 3 songs just resonated with me so much because of the introspective part of it. So if I were to rate it, I would probably rate it like a 7.5 to 8.
Okay.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty high for you.
Yeah, it is. It's just because of what she's singing about. And just
it also, I think what helps is it transitions super well.
Yes.
Like you can listen to this whole thing and it almost feels like a breeze because it flows extremely well.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Like I mentioned, a lot of the melodies sound very similar going into each other. Mm-hmm. And I think that makes you like resonate with the lyrics more because you can really like get into it.
Yes, 100%.
For me, I would say that like Sweetener, in my opinion, and even Thank You Next is probably better than this.
Oh, Thank You Next, I forgot.
Because they're a lot more like sonically experimental. This one is a lot more reserved compared to
very reserved.
A lot of her other music. It shows a different side to her artistry, which I think is cool. Mm-hmm. But as far as like what you would expect from her, it is way different. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Vocally, she's not nearly as like powerful either.
Right. Even on like Yes and or the other one that you mentioned that you liked, it's
Bye.
It's not like
a little bit, but not like she's done in the past.
Right. Not like Thank You Next or God Is a Woman.
Yeah.
I mean, those are just, you hear her, and this one just really quiet.
So I think it's a really good album to listen to all the way through though.
Oh, definitely you have to.
Because of how like well it flows. Mm-hmm. I actually gave it around the same score, like a 7.5 to 8.
Okay.
Which for her like might be a little bit low, but it is like a very good pop album, and I think I may like appreciate it more in the future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, you felt it's gonna
age well as people like really sink into like what she's saying on this album.
So you said you like Sweetener, and I don't know, maybe I'm putting you on the spot with this, but what score would you have given Sweetener, do you think?
I mean, probably like closer to like an 8.5 to like closer to a 9, maybe not a 9, but like like definitely higher.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know. I think I like the instrumentals on that more. Okay. And I'm into like instrumentals.
Yes, yeah, he is.
So,
yeah, he is.
And this one is just a little I don't know. I sometimes I like this kind of music for her. Mm-hmm. I thought it was like cool that she did it. That's why I gave it like a high score. I think it's really high quality.
Yes, that's just where I went with it.
Not like for me when it comes to like what I would expect from her.
Yep.
But that's okay. That's why I think I might like it more in the future.
Right. And I think if for our viewers, really you got to listen to this, especially because of the fact that it's so different that you can just understand and appreciate who she is now and where she's going to go in her musical career. There's so many ways she can go. I bet her next album is going to be a power album. Yeah. Like I just have
Or maybe she'll go in this direction again and it'll make you like appreciate even more that she can do this.
Yeah, that's true. She can do a lot.
Yeah. But that's how we feel about Ariana Grande's Eternal Sunshine. I'm Joe.
I'm Joe's mom.
And we're Eastside Vibes. And thanks for watching.
Bye.
Have a nice